Hi everyone. This is just the work counter, and that's what I'm going to keep it throughout the live. So let me just wait for a few of you, and if you guys are there and seeing the live, you could just tell me if the voice is audible and all that, and then we'll quickly start. So this is the first one of the 20-day quarantine cake art challenge, right? So the list was already posted, so we are just going to go on with the list in the same order. Okay, so the first one will be hibiscus, and that's the hibiscus cutter. Okay, um, and we'll need the silicone veiner and the ball tool, a foam pad. Okay, but the foam pad is like a soft pad, and it's not it's just squishy but hard, but not too soft. Okay, and one of the two. I'll use the 24G that I have. 30 is a little too flimsy to use. Because the petals are going to be a little bigger. Okay, so that will be a 24G, right? So we'll need that, and a rolling pin, a small one or a big one is fine too, and stamens that will be used for the pollen grains and the center of the hibiscus, right? I'm going live both on the Facebook and the Instagram at the same time, so I'm just trying to see. So that's the semolina thing. I've colored it using yellow, so that was a plain semolina suji, how do you want to call it, and I added yellow gel color in it, and then I just made it like just mix the color into it. So that's what I have, and some regular brushes, the normal one, and petal dust colors, brown and red, scissors, and ball tool. I think I showed you already, right? Okay, can't see anything yet, is it? So I want one of you to just comment over and see if you can, if you can follow and you're able to see what's on the screen now. That's my hand for you to see, because it's just a white board I had, so anything could be easily visible. I don't see in Facebook anybody commenting yet. Okay, so that's the red gum paste. I'm using Aarti, which is humid variant gum paste. I'm just going to knead a bit. Why do you say can't see anything? I mean, it's a white thing, yeah? Oh, okay, you can. Okay, so only when I start doing something, you're going to see it, right? Okay, so that's the gum paste. Okay, so I'm going to use this cutter and cut. And the wires. So that is the the wire full length, right? I'm going to cut it into half each. Okay, I'll need five petals. So before going into cutting it, I just want to show the hibiscus that I made from yesterday. I made and I kept it for drying. So that's how it is. So we are going to make this. So which means we need 5 petals, right? And there's one center for the hibiscus. That's what we are going to make. So I want to make the petals first, and then we'll just start making the center, and then we'll be taping them all down, right? Okay, so I'm just putting that aside, and I need some corn flour, and that is my it's a plywood board. You can also use your craft mat or any counter that you've been working with your fondant or gum paste and all that. Okay. If you haven't rolled out sugar paste in any of the counter yet, then you need to make sure it doesn't stick, or if it is sticking to your counter, you just need to keep rolling it a couple of times and then remove it and then just spread out the corn flour, because each time you don't want to roll it out and later figure out it is stuck to the base. Okay, so roll out and you want the petals to be as thin as possible. But I say as thin as possible because when I say if it has to be in the thickness like an or so, ideally if you are a beginner, you roll it out to be a little thicker, a really thicker petal than it is supposed to be, which we don't want. So I just want to make sure it is not stuck. Okay, so you want the sheet to be moving out freely on the mat that you're working, and you need 5 petals, but I have already made 5 petals because it needs to shape up and get dried, because I want to tape it down and show in the live. Okay, so when you're cutting, so that's the cutter, right? I mean, don't put your fingers here because some cutters are quite sharp and you could get hurt. I mean, they could be cut here. So you hold it on the sides, or maybe you can put a cloth on the top and then you need to rub. So what I want to do right now is, if you're just going to press it, it may cut or it may not cut also. So you want to keep shaking it. Okay, so you sure that it just gets cut well. Okay, so that's one of the petal. And so because there is this shape here, I'm just trying to not waste the rolled out sheet, so I'm just inverting it to maximize the surface area of the sheet. Right here also I just want to shake it out and holding it from the sides and not the top. Okay, so just for you to understand, I will not be able to cut out 5 in this sheet because I'm going to show twice, 2 times, because doing 5 in the live will take out a lot of time. I have cut only 3 here, but what you need is 5 such petals. Okay, and the easiest method, if you are a beginner, then the easiest method is sausage method. Okay, but if you are making the flowers for competitions, then the sausage method is not good. Yeah, because the judges are going to look into the sausage method and maybe put you less marks depending on who's judging, or maybe they're going to disqualify. But if you are a beginner and if you are doing it for your orders, if you want to make it for your orders, it doesn't matter. So for a beginner, I would suggest making this one. For that, you need the half size of the wire. Okay, and that's the cutter, and you want to measure like half the size of the length of the cutter. Okay, and hold the wire there and hold it between your fingers. Okay, and you want to remove that I mean, the cutter is not needed anymore after that. And that's the gum paste of the same color of the petal that you cut out. You just need a pea size. Okay, so and you're holding it, right? So this is the mark of that line. You're holding it, you press it down, and from the bottom, okay, pinch it up. I'm just keeping it from the bottom and pinching it all up, and using the 2 fingers of my right hand, I'm trying to bring it up. I mean, keep twisting and bring it up. But if you notice, this hand is not, rolling this out. It is not twisting. I'm holding it tight, and okay, any excess, you remove it off the top. All right. Okay, so this sausage part has to be smooth, and you want the sausage to go to the tip of that wire only and not beyond that. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, it shouldn't be like really thick also. So now if I see, that's the petal and that's the sausage, the thickness of the sausage. Okay, so now the sausage is made and the petal is also ready, and now I'll need some glue. You can use, okay, you can use water also. I'm just using some glue and a brush. Okay, so the next thing now we are going to do is stick this sausage on the petal like that. Okay, so you're not supposed to put the sausage uh, too much on the top. So this extra wire that is exposed on top of the petal is also not allowed. And other thing that is not allowed is to put it something like here, and this extra sausage that is popping down of the petal is also not allowed. So what is allowed is the bottom end of that sausage to match with the bottom end of the petal is what we are trying to look at. Okay, so I'm just going to put some glue. I mean, a lot of glue is also not good. Okay, you can add a CMC mixed with water. That glue is also fine, or just water is also okay. So I'm just going to press it little gently. Yeah, and the next step will be to have the vena. So that's an all-purpose vena, because I don't do like lifelike flowers is not something that I look. When easy flowers that that can go on cakes for commercial purposes is what I kind of focus on. So no teaching the beginners. So the vena that I have right here is an all-purpose vena, and it's a double-sided silicone vena. So this one will go on top of that. So now with the sausage, the petal goes here. But if you notice, my vena is smaller for the size of the petal, right? I mean the end, so it should have been somewhere here, and the vena would have been a little bigger vena would have been good. But that is fine if you have a vena that is smaller for the size of the petal, right? So I'm just placing, I'll show you how we are going to manage that. So I'm keeping the top of the vena, and I'm going to give it a good press. There's that extra bit hanging outside, which we are going to address it as the next step. Okay, so now gently removing it out, and now the veining is there, and if the glue is extra, I mean it could seep out of the sausage. Okay, so now this part also should be addressed. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to push it up a bit. Okay, now this part is good, I don't want to disturb that part. And I'm going to place this vena, and without touching all here, I'm going to lift a little bit here and press only at this bottom without touching the top part. Okay, and so now this part is also done. So that's how you manage with the vena that you have if the petal size is a little bigger than the vena. So that one thing is done. So after this step is when you need your foam pad. That's the foam pad that I have. So what I ideally do is okay. Because of the sausage method, what happens, I mean, it is a flower that is open, right? So I already have a dried out petal here, but I just want to explain what happens with a petal with a sausage and a petal without a sausage, right? So it is an open flower, and if the sausage was here, and if you are letting it see through the actual flower, I mean, it's really not good. Okay, so it is a closed flower, it is an open flower. That thing you need to ask yourself, and then make sure the sausage part is always hidden, right? So now for this flower, this part should not have the sausage. The sausage should be on the bottom. So now how do I deal with that? So now here is the sausage, right? Now if I put this upside down and put the sausage part down, and now I'm going to use my ball tool. I want to thin down the edges, and hibiscus has a little bit of ruffles. I mean, you can look into um, the real hibiscus. There could be quite a few varieties. There could be hibiscus in different colors. Okay, so now when you're using a ball tool, you hold it like a pen or a pencil, right? And the next thing that you need to keep in mind is most of my students, they do that mistake. When the ball tool is there, and the thinning of the edges of the gumpaste flowers, they have to do, they go too much inside. Okay, when the total ball tool is inside the edges, when that is wrong. The half of the ball tool on the edge of the petal and half of the ball tool on the foam pad itself, that is the ideal way of using it. And how do you do that? That movement of how you want to do is, you have an eraser, you've written something wrong with a pencil. Yeah, that's what I keep telling. So I just want to insist that if you want to erase it, that's the movement you do, right? That's the movement you do. Okay, maybe you write like this, and but we are not going to write it, just going to go around the edges and erase it. That's the movement. So you're not going to turn it like that. That is also something that doesn't work for me. And holding like this and then rolling it, that is also not going to work. So the one thing that works for me is what I ask my students also to do, and that's what I'm telling you guys as well. It is like erasing. So I'm going to put half the ball tool on the foam pad and half the ball tool on the edge of the petal and go around. So if I go around like once, it is going to thin down the edges of the petal. Now if I want more ruffles, and that's when I will do this eraser thing. So I will be there like in a 1 inch extent of the petal only. I will not be holding the petal. Holding the petal will will not let the petal move for you as you ruffle. So I'll just hold this foam pad and not the wire, and let the petal move, and keep doing that eraser movement till you have the kind of ruffles that you're looking at. I mean, you could choose to keep it without ruffles. It depends on what inspiration you take. So if my ball tool was somewhere here, I would have kind of gotten rid of these veins which I don't want to do. So edges of the petals only, and the foam pad, half of it on the foam pad, right? And if you think the petal is stuck to the foam pad, then you dust some corn flour here and then place the petal on top and then do this. But when you're doing it, if the gum paste itself is a little sticky, then this movement will not be easy. You want to let it move. But if it doesn't move, then you need to make sure you do something to make it move, which would be dusting corn flour here. I'm putting it on top and then going around. All right. So now I'll just quickly do one more petal right now. So for this petal, after this stage, it needs to go to the drying mode. So now how do you want the petal to dry? So what I use is this rolling pin. Okay, not sure. I mean, I set the frame, and that is all I could get by having two cameras running parallelly, one for Facebook and one for Insta. Okay, so now this needs to be dried up like that. So when you do that, you know, the wires from here to here, right? When you do that, by just placing that, and the you see the petal is a little tilted. You want to hold this part where the wire could pop out, which you don't want to do, and then just press this part down. Okay, and just make sure by just rolling it back and forth, just make sure what position you like. When ideally when you do that, when you are drying 5 petals here, what really happens is, you know, the rolling pin just rolls back. But if it rolls back without you seeing it rolling back and forth, you want some stopper. But I just use the vena itself to be placed here and one placed here. I mean, because you want the other petals also, so maybe the pointy side. So what really happens, it prevents the, you can see that, I mean, it should be somewhere here, right? So it will prevent the rolling pin from rolling back and forth, and you know the shape that you are let it dry will just remain there. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, so now I already have the petals. Right? These are the dried ones. I mean, doing another petal is going to take up some time. So let me just show you how finally it looks. Okay, so all the 5 petals. So this is the one that we've put now, and that is soft, right? But these ones are dried already. I made it this morning, so we should be able to tape it, right? So I'm just removing the one that I just made. I'm putting it back. Just figuring things out. My phone could run out of charger. So I'm just getting that bit fixed. Okay, fine now. So the 5 petals will get dried up like this on the rolling pin, right? So I'm just going to move this aside until we get back to dusting it and then taping it. So the petals are done. So the one petal that I showed you, you will be making 5 such petals and dry them out on the rolling pin, right? So the next thing would be to move ahead to the center. The center, I want you to, take a close look at it. Let me just describe. So if you see, the tip has 5 different balls, right? Small ones. I mean, I'm just taking this. Okay, if you see there's this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? I mean, they are on wires only, so I can open it out as well, okay, or close it out as well later, depending on how I want it to look. Okay, so for that, you understand that there are 5 wires to begin with. Okay, so and then all this is gum paste right till that part, and these are stamens, And on the tip of the stamens, there is the yellow semolina, which I showed you at the beginning. So we're just going to put this all together quickly. And then I don't have a spare of this made. So what I'm going to do now here on the live is what I will be using it on the flower to assemble, right? So I am just saying that because it did take a bit of time and yesterday when I was doing that. For this, I'm just going to use the flimsy wire, which is size 30. Why? Because if that is thick by itself, I'm putting 5 together and putting the gum paste sausage on the top will give me a very thick stock, which I don't want, right? So there are 5 together. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So now I can cut it, but I'm just making sure one part of it is all even. Okay. And now the next thing I need is the floral tape. So floral tape also, I really don't want to use the entire width of it. If I'm going to use the entire width, what really happens, it adds up to the thickness of my stock or the center. So I am just going to cut it through lengthwise. So let me just use this, and if I need more, I will cut it again. So I'm taking the 5 wires, making sure one end the length is all the same. I can leave a little excess because later I can cut as well, but if it is too short and if you want a little longer, then it is difficult for you to add more length to it, right? So I am just leaving extra length, and that's a self-adhesive floral tape, and you know stretch it and then it starts sticking. When you stretch it, you see the color changes. It's darker here and then it is lighter here. So every time you want to go around, you need to keep stretching it, and you start from the back side of all the 5 wires together and pinch it using your left hand and keep twisting it. As you twist, this is held at an angle and keep coming down. So you tape all the 5 wires together. So as I go, I am just stretching it. It's the lighter part always covering up. It's okay if it breaks, you can start. Just taping it down. Okay, so that is done, right? So this will be opened up. Okay, and obviously they can't be like this long. That needs to be cut. So before that, I just want to cover up. It can be as long as possible. If you see some of the hibiscus, they have like really long center. So for which now I need red again. Okay, gum paste. Right, I'm needing it. Maybe so much. I can add some more. That's the good thing about our theme is flower paste. When if I need more, I can add, and it blends really well. It doesn't show where the seams are. All right. So I've taken so much, and so maybe I'm just seeing how long I want. So from here, so I start from here from the back. It's the same way I did the sausage. It has to be like really smooth, but to begin with, we just need to cover up. And if I feel it is a little thicker, right, than what I want, then I can just narrow it down, like bring some to the bottom. I can just start narrowing it down. Narrowing it down is like, you start extending the length, which you can remove it off later if you don't want so much. Okay, and then I'm going to put it between my palms and roll it to get a smooth sausage. I'm just going to check if it is smooth enough. Not yet. Smooth enough or a little more? Yeah, now it's better. So this I can bend it later however I want. Okay, but this one should dry for some time. So now if you notice the flower that I've already made, the tip of the wire has red cover, right? That's the gum paste itself. Because now if you see, it's all in white, right? But you don't want that. And now I'll see how much I need, and I'm just going to cut. So much should be good enough. Okay, so I don't want that extras. And now I need to be opening it out. But before that, to just get it in the red shade, I'm going to put the gum paste itself on top of all the 5 wires together. Okay, and now I'm going to use the tweezer. First, let me just open out the wires one by one. So I'm just taking out a little gum paste with each wire as I just open it out. I didn't need the tweezer. So what I'm going to do, hopefully you're able to see. So what I'm trying to do is just get a thin gum paste layer that could cover up the color of the the tiny wire. Putting all 5 together is just a time saver. When you could open out itself in the beginning and try and cover up, but the point is it just can't be like too thick. Too thick is not so good. So if I find it like really thick, then I just remove off the excess. So this part I found it was time consuming. But if I'm just going to orally say and take out a spare one that I've already made, then I thought maybe you wouldn't be able to understand how much time you should spend on this part. So this one I find it a little thicker. And removed everything. So let me just try and pull from what's there in the center itself. So the idea is to just cover it up with red. But what really happens if you are going to paint it red, those are options by which I tried, but what really happens, the color really doesn't match exactly with this part. and you know, it just looks a little odd. So I find this one, though it's a little time consuming, it's just going to make it look better at the end, right? Okay, so that's what it looks like now. All right, so now the tip of it has some small balls for you to compare. You see that these are that small balls also, and that one also we make. And so for that one to stick, what you need to brush glue, little bit of glue on the tip of each of the small wire. So let me just make 5 tiny balls. I mean, it is good if you make them all in the same size, but it's okay. But you can stick them on the wire and see if they are a little too big, you can still change it. So that's not a big worry too. You can use your hands only. Or tweezers if you feel like it. Okay, so that part is done, and the next one is to add the stamens. So that's the couple of yellow stamens. You need only one set. Okay, so what I had done, and again I'm bringing back this model. So what I've done, if you take a close look, just the tip of that yellow thing, I've poked it inside this sausage, okay, from the top. And that extra thing, the pollen grain kind of a thing, is semolina. So you want to cut it, and if you're going to cut it here, here, here and all, um, these are all wires, right? So it will not get poked inside that red center, this part, it will not get poked inside. But you want it a bit sturdy thing, and you don't want it like really long also. So this much is what you will need. So all of it, I just want to cut it to this much only. So I just hold it together. I mean, if they are not the same length what you want, you can also cut it later. So right now I'm not cutting it here, I'm just going all the way till here because I want, you know, shorter ones. These are not edible. The only thing that's not edible in the whole flower that we made, or the wires, of course, yes, and whatever is on the outside that you see, but this part is not going to be edible. So now this again is a little time consuming process. Hopefully you are able to see. Okay, so I'm just going to, you know, pick up one. This is going to be one by one, and start from one end. Hold it not like that, okay, at an angle like that, not like this, at an angle, and press it in. It will go inside the sausage because it is soft and we've just made it. And if this completely dried up, then it won't go. So that's how it is going to look. So as and when you press down each stamen, you need to press it here because you don't want it to be at the loose end, so it could just come out. You don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and keep poking, and at an angle. I mean, you want it to be pointing a bit up and not facing down or on the sides as well. So you could do that pressing thing after you've done one row. Right. So I'm just going to go down. And if that one bunch is not enough, I could cut out. So I'm not keeping them like in order. I mean, they are randomly placed all around. I'm pressing it down. I'm assuming that second layer is done. You find it like if it is really too tall, you push it back again. So you want to do this after the red sausage thing is done, like all together, because if you're using gum paste and that sausage part will dry out quickly. And if it is dried, then you will not be able to cook. So if you see this particular one, the white part is, it's not too sturdy for me to poke it inside, but it's just kind of too soft. I'm not able to poke it through. So if you find one like that, what you can do, if it doesn't go inside, it is not too stiff, which means just get rid of that white part, which is this, and now see if it goes inside. So now I'm able to push it in. This one gives kind of more close to the real look. You could dust this whole part with glue and then add in your semolina, but they are not going to be hanging out, but in real this part hangs out. So and it looks nice also. The end result is nice. When I see that this white part is there, and I'm going to cut that extra out. I mean, you could go on till here, but as you go down, you can just make it little scarce, because it is kind of little too crowded. I mean, thickly populated here, and as it goes down, it kind of gets a little scarce, which is like these ones are placed a little far away from their neighbors. Okay, but so for now, to just also cut down on the time, I'm just going to stop off till here, right? And now the grains that needs to be added. So what I'm doing, so as I said earlier, this is that semolina thing which is in yellow, and you want that thing to get stuck on here on the tip of these stamens that you have inserted, right? So I'm just going to add glue and make sure which ones are moving. I want to poke it in and make sure they are stuck well. I don't want them to fall off. just on the tip. But what really happens if you are just a little casual about, which I am actually being now, I could be a little more careful in adding the glue just to the tip, and all here on the red part I really don't want to add, because the yellow pollen grain thing, which is the semolina that we are going to use, I want it to get stuck only on the tip of these stamens that we've inserted. And just make sure it is the glue goes on into all of them. I'm just making sure we haven't missed out any. And so now, so I just want to go inside and see excess is there. You can just remove it off. Sorry. You could dip it in if it is a deeper bowl, or you can just sprinkle on top. If there's excess, we will remove it off. So add in as much. So just dab it back. So if there's any excess that is stuck, they could just fall off. Okay, so this looks good, right? Okay, so now this part, if I don't want them to be too wide open, I can use my fingers as well. I don't know, every time I feel like I want to use the tweezers, hands work better for me. Okay, so that's the center which is done. And if I want to bend it, I'm not reading through the questions as of now, right? Once I'm done with the because looking through both the lenses and just making sure everything goes well. Just trying to see how much to bend and how to bend and how it is going to look and all that. Okay, so this should be fine. Now I'm putting it aside. Let's kind of wipe off the suji semolina. Okay, so so these are the 5 petals, right? I'm going to grab some foil. Because I'm going to dust the petal, that's why I don't want my white board to get the dust colors. So these are the dried ones, right? The one that I made at the starting of the life is lying there. And these are the ones which was made, quite a while ago. But yeah, today in the morning. Okay, so now we'll be needing the petal dusts. I have the brown and then the red as well. And then I need some brushes. So I'm just going to grab a brush that's a little flat. Okay, so first I'll be kneading red petal dust. I'm just going to dip the tip of the brush and take out a little bit on the foil, right, and take one petal. So you don't want to hold the petal here on the wire and then kind of go and dust it, because it could break. Not sure yet how flimsy it is, how much it is dried and all that. So I'm going to start dusting red And I started off with the red gum paste, and now this is making it even more deeper, right? So it doesn't matter the gum paste that you start with if it is like really deep or not, because you anyway have to dust it, right? So they were all together, right? But if you see, look at the difference in the color, and you want to do the back side as well. So I just want to hold it with my hands and just handle it like it's a very delicate thing, because it is. Right, I will be doing a little bit of brown on top of that. For now, I don't have spare dusted ones, so I need to finish dusting all the 5 right here in the live. I shall be quickly doing it, but I have to do the front and the back. Second one is done. Picking up the third one. I'm just gently brushing off entire thing red to start with. Alright, and a little bit of brown I'll do, which will add a little to the depth, but ideally hibiscus is kind of all a red, right? And unless you are dealing with hibiscus which is in the different shade. One more to go. Red's all done. Now what I'm going to do, take a little bit of brown, okay, and some red as well. I'm just going to mix a bit of brown with the red, so that's going to give me a little darker shade in between the brown and the red. I don't want to use the brown directly, so this I'm just going to add a little on the edges only. And you see the mixture, the color mixture that you've made, if it is going to give a little difference in the shading. If not, then you need to be looking at adding some more of the brown, or if it is like getting too dark, then you need to add some more of the red. Here, just a bit of brown. I'm just covering it up with the mixed shade. Because what really happens when without the depth in the shade of whatever flower that you make, I mean, it may not have that kind of life that you're trying to give it. So I'm not sure if you can see, but if you see, the edges of this has that little bit of brown, and this does not. Where this looks a little flat, and this kind of has that depth. I think so, right? Okay, so I am going to continue mixing up red with brown. just work on the edges. Now I may not be able to read through the the queries right now because it's just a very limited surface space that I have for the video. I'm just focusing on, I shouldn't be going out of focus as I work for you guys. Keep working, and as I'm reading through, I could miss out on where I'm doing um, these things which I want you guys to see through, because I can't keep talking, and if I just put it out of the frame, then you might miss out on what I'm doing if I don't show it on the camera. So this is also done. That's for comparison. That's like pitch red, and this seems like too flat, and this has a little bit more depth to it. So I'm going to take in some more brown, some more red, and add that brown on the edges. That I'm just quickly doing, when you could do it a little more patiently, only on the edges. And this I'm just dusting off the excess, and here at the base. Okay, so the dusting is done. I also want to do some dusting here to the center. I mean, wearing a gloves is a good idea if you don't like spoiling your hands with the color, but I generally enjoy getting my hands colored up with the dust, and I'm playing with colors and all that, so it doesn't matter for me. I mean, I'll wash it before I want to use it on a white or a lighter shade. Dust this whole thing. Okay, and just do this way. Yeah, so dusting is done and petals are done. I'm going to remove the foil. You could save this color, pack it, that's a lot of color for you to throw. You could save this up and use it for later. Pack it up and then maybe label it and use it for later. I'm just wiping my hands so I'm not going to wash it as yet. Now what do we have? We have the I think the Insta says the live could end now. So Facebook guys, just a bit. Yeah, and so on the Insta I have connected again. Okay, so the center. So that's all we need now for to start taping. That's the tape, and this one I want to just cut it lengthwise into half. As I said, using that whole thing will add to the thickness of the stalk of the flower that we make. Right, so I have three small pieces. So let me just start with one. So that's the center, right? So I'm just going to put these petals aside so you can see clearly. I'm going to take one by one. So that is the center, right? So it is going to bend like that because we've used 30 gauge. Okay, so I can use all the way till here, which is also going to be good. I'm just trying to smoothen it out. Or say if you don't want it like too long, you can cut off a bit from here even now, and then just remove off so much of gum paste that you have still, you still have the liberty even at this stage to decide what is the length of the center that you want to use. Okay, so now see, that is the first petal, so that is the shape it had dried on the rolling pin, right? So it is going to be like this. Okay, when it is not too close to the center, so it has to be bent a bit now, which is like holding the wire here, and now this is that end, right, where I just removed off some. So holding it here and bending a bit. I mean, you can also bend it like really well, but later on after you're done with taping, you can bring it back because that is having the wire, right, it will stay in the position that you are going to set it to. And again, the tape, as I said, it is self-adhesive tape. You need to stretch it. I am getting it from the back. So after every petal you go one round. I am stretching it here, I am pinching it well between these two fingers and making sure this one is really tight, because you want it to be tight and you don't want later if you're able to pull it, you don't want that petal to come out. Okay, and this one, so here this part of the wire I'm bending it. As I said, you want it to be bent a bit. Second petal, go around, tape it. I mean, while trying to make it tight, you could cut. That is fine. The tape getting cut is fine, but not doing it tight is a problem. So you have to make sure you're tightening it up and bending the wire, attaching it here. I mean, you need space for 5 petals there. Fourth one, bending it, attaching it here. I mean, it's just completely hidden behind my third. Okay, 4 is done. So there is place for the 5th one, and that is this one. Bend it, place it here, and just make sure the wire is just right there where your finger is holding on to the rest of the petals. Okay, making sure that part is just tight. I'm doing like 2 rounds there in that same place. And now I want to cover up the entire stretch of the wires together. So now I am holding this at an angle here. I'm trying to tape down all the wires together. Yeah, this is done. So now right now I just want to position it. So okay, it can be open like that, or you can just bring it closer. I mean, you can just make sure the overlaps are kind of even. Okay, getting it closer makes it look better, right? Okay, so I'm not going to turn it back to my face. I'm not dressed up and all that to, you know, look into your query. So what I'm going to do, put both the hibiscus here on, yeah, and I'm smiling, which you can't see, but you're able to hear and feel it, right? So that is actually the end of whatever we are trying to do today. I don't want to keep it like too long. I'm sure that it is already like an hour. I wanted to keep like every day like half an hour, not too much of content. I mean, it's like too much for everybody to watch a 1 hour live every day or even a little past that. So what I'm going to do, I will open up the page and see if there are any queries. So that's the one that I already made. Looks good. Okay, so I don't know. Uh, I mean, like this stand, whatever I'm using is just kind of hiding up all the comments. I'm not able to read through anything. For the petal, what's the other method apart from the sausage wearing method? Madhuri. Okay. So you want me to show that. So I'll put this aside, Madhuri. The other method is to use a pad like this. Okay. And so this one I'm just doing because Madhuri had asked a doubt of what is the other method. So I'm just going to quickly show what is it. The other doubts, I'm not sure if I can read through it during the live, but I will read it through a little later and I will respond. So just rolling it out a little thicker here on this mat. So this is the mat, you know, the board that has the grooves. So you want to put that on top of this groove and roll it on top of it. So what happens, some thick part of the gum paste goes inside the grooves, and that will make it convenient to insert the wire. Okay. So you wanna keep that groove in the middle of this cutter and cut it. Remove the excess first because you'll not be able to shake this up. Remove the excess, and you see there is this groove supposed to be in the center, but it's a little off, right? So now here what happened, I'm not too comfortable with this method. Okay, so now that is done, you want to insert the wire through the thicker part of the groove. Hold it between your two fingers and start from the bottom. And like a doctor or a nurse trying to test the blood, you want to insert it exactly through that part. And if you're moving out of that, if you see the wire has come out, which is something that you need to avoid, you need to be sure that you are inserting it through the thicker part of that groove only. So now this has got the wire inserted into it, and then it goes. So here that applying glue and attaching the sausage step is not there. I mean, this after inserting into that thicker groove, it just goes inside the veiner directly. And that groove, when you press it, it just kind of disappears. Okay, so this is that other method. Anything else? if you've missed out the earlier part, I'm not sure. I'm still figuring out the Insta thing, right? I mean, if someone could let me know where exactly on Instagram should people go and check the live that's already done. Otherwise, and that's why I just made sure I'm doing it on both Facebook and Insta. So the Facebook live is going to be there on the Fondbites page, wherever you're watching, it's going to be there. So if you've missed out, you go back and watch. And I want you guys to make the flower. So one thing I wanted to show you guys, when what happens if you do not have the hibiscus cutter. So how long should you dry the petals? Overnight. 4 hours if your climate is good, and if it is not too humid and all that. If it is humid, you need to turn on your AC, and even in AC, if it doesn't dry up, then you need to have a table lamp which has that yellow light, 100 watts bulb, and you want to let the petals dry under that light. Okay, always required to dust the petal. Yeah, you always dust the petal, it is like really good. So I'm going to read through another thing which I wanted to show. What if you don't have hibiscus cutter? I'm just going to quickly grab another cutter which is like a rose cutter. Okay, so that's a rose cutter. I'm going to do something that, just totally unacceptable, which I'm going to do now. So, okay, because it is like too wide. Why it is unacceptable is to, I'm just going to kind of make it, change the shape, which you can actually do, depending on whatever cutter you have and how you want your petal to be. So, I'm not going to use this part. I'm going to only cut till here, and I'm going to have excess, use scissors to cut to the shape of the hibiscus cutter. So let me just show up. I didn't try it yet, but it was in my mind to show to people who don't have hibiscus cutter. They still want being in your home and not having enough orders for the time being, where you want to do something for yourself. So I thought there has to be some way or the other that I could figure out so everybody actually gets to make it. So this is kind of thin enough. So what I'm going to do, put on top of this, I want to have excess here, running through here. Just missed the groove. I'm just not going to cut that part, okay? So I'm just going to take this out. This part is good. This part is the one that is damaged, which is okay. So now I don't need this. I don't need this as well. So here there's a little shaping that I want to do. So let me just mark it. You could use a template, which is another simpler version. Hibiscus petal template in Google. Cut out that template. This kind of looks a little funny, but I think it will work if you're not having the template as well. And your craft knife. And if you don't want to do this, here the shape could have been a little better. It kind of looks like a balloon shape. So you can print out, or you can draw this out, okay, in a paper, the petal. I mean, you don't even have to print it out. Draw it out and make your own template. You have an OHP sheet or any thick chart paper or something. Draw out on top of that and place that on the rolled gum paste. And assuming that the template is there, place that template and go around and just cut it, or make the marking and uh, cut it using scissors or your craft knife. Okay, so this is close. So this was the cutter used, and then you kind of get, you know, another shape. So it's not too close, but well, you know. So using the cutters that you already have, you kind of can get. Yes, Siri, we can have a template. When Google will have template, or you get the hang of this shape, then you cut it out. I mean, draw it out on your HP sheet and cut it out. Make your template and roll your gum paste and place the template on top of it, and mark it with your Dresden tool, and use your craft knife to cut or scissors to cut as well is good enough. Okay. Um, Balloon cutter. I mean, this is that balloon cutter, right? I mean, I'm not too happy with this shape. I mean, it could have been a little better. I mean, it's okay. I mean, not too bad. I mean, I like this better. I mean, it also depends, but it doesn't matter because what really happens, there are different kinds of hibiscus, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as you know it looks like hibiscus. Okay. Petals dry faster in AC. Yes. If it is too humid or outside, when AC just controls the humidity in the room that you work, right? I mean, even if in AC it is just not going to dry, then you need that yellow bulb, the table lamp. And if you don't have table lamp, then switch on your microwave, just the power on, and then that yellow color light goes on inside your microwave, right? And don't let the microwave thing running. I mean, just the power on and the yellow light glows inside the microwave, and place the petals inside and let it dry there. I mean, it just needs some yellow light for it to dry. And if it doesn't dry out in the place that you are in, if you don't have AC and all that, you need an yellow light, or use a hair dryer. I mean, like, how long will you be holding your hair dryer onto your petals? But if you feel like it is just not drying at all, then the last thing that you can do is to have a hair dryer. Dehydrator. I'm not sure. I haven't used a dehydrator. But maybe see if it is humid. If your climate, the room that you're working is humid. If you are sweating, then your petals are also going to be soft. So you need to have AC. I mean, if the dehydrator is just going to remove the humidity in your room, then it should work as well. Okay. So I'm just going to look forward to, from today to tomorrow, how many of you are going to make the hibiscus. I mean, that's the fun part for me, when actually people watching the live and making it and sending the pictures. When you could, if you are just the Instagram, kind of a person, you could make a post, tag Fondbites, so I know that you have made it, or you can make stories, and so maybe I will reshare it. And if you are on the Facebook, and if you are a Facebook person, I mean, you could post your pictures in the Cakes Unplugged by Fondbites magazine page, where I know the cake art stuffs are there. Or you could do it on your wall and then just tag me, so I just know that you the guys have made it. So tomorrow, you know what's there in the list, and I'll just come back tomorrow same time 3 p.m. and we'll just do something else. So that'll be the day 2. And thank you for being there, and that's the day 1. Looking forward to tomorrow. Bye bye, guys.